All right, what do you want them to do? What do we want the Patriots to do next week? I would like them to find a new head coach. That's what I want them to do. If they choose to keep their current head coach, I will not be happy with the ownership. I will be unhappy with them. I will think that they are afraid of moving on from Bill Belichick, that they just don't have the stones to do it, that they know what he means to the history of the team. They know what kind of figure he is in terms of having someone who's a star because they don't have any on their roster. And they're just afraid to move off the era that they just had for the last 2 decades. They're just afraid of it, that they just can't do it. They can't rip off the Band-Aid, even though they should, even though for a lot of reasons it's the right time for change. And I would also, if they choose to keep Bill Belichick, point back to all the things they've said for 2 years about expectations and accountability and needing to get back to the playoffs and winning. Nothing that they will say will carry any weight as long as he's still here. It won't, because all of that will have been bogus.
Part of the problem with the statements is that's what they're supposed to say, too. Like, you want to be in the playoffs. Your expectations are the playoffs, especially with the history here. That should be standard. That should be, like, just stamped on letterhead.
But if you just let him continue in the job, you don't have a standard. You're okay with, hey, you can have a 4 or 5 win season and it can follow a previous losing season, and you're Bill, so you get special consideration that other head coaches don't get. And I get it. He's not every other head coach. He's special. Yeah. He's got 6 banners hanging in the stadium that he was a part of.
Yeah.
I get it. But at what point does that not count anymore? So I would be displeased if they stick with him going forward. But I think you got to say that now, because it's one or the other. You're either going to be happy with them or mad at them. I'll be on the side of being mad.
Yeah, I'm not mad either way. I would understand the change if they made it.
What should they do?
But if you ask me, I'd keep him and get him help in personnel. They've already kept Mayo from leaving the building.
Him. But so you think they should keep him?
Like, I would think this slides more towards ownership, where they didn't let Gerard Mayo leave the building. We don't know what that agreement was upon. I think they went after Bill O'Brien, and I think they made sure that, hey, Billy, if you're coming back here, you're going to be here. No, you're moving your family. You're from here. Your wife wants to get back here. You've got personal family issues. If we're committing to you for 2 years, you're at least here for 2 years. That guy was a head coach at a former place. That guy ran Penn State. He ran the Texans. He was a GM. Like, he made all decisions. So for that guy to come here, it's not just some sloppy coordinator that you could whack after a year. There had to be some sort of agreement in place there. So you've already kind of trying to get Bill help.
Yeah.
So now go to the front office and say, yeah, we want you back, but like, the talent is the problem. The team plays hard. And I know you don't get any bonus points for playing hard, but I watch the league. There's some badass teams out there. This isn't a bad team. They make stupid mistakes at times, yeah. But talent, I think, forces some of those mistakes to happen. Experience forces some of those mistakes to happen. Like, the only guy you could say really quits is like Trent Brown. You know, not even traveling him last week. And that's a pretty obvious one. Everybody else, I think everybody's engaged. They're in. They're locked in. I'd keep him and get him help in the front office.
I've done a complete 180. I want to keep him.
Oh, what happened to you? All right.
Wow.
All right, go on. Tell us why.
The way they've played over the last few weeks, clearly this is a team that's engaged. I was out on them at the start of this year, especially after the Saints-Cowboys game, because this looked like a team that was completely flat and had lost interest in their head coach. That isn't the case anymore. This defense is playing at a really high level right now. You have the defense rolling. You have building blocks on that side of the ball. We all know the offense sucks, 100%. So go get them some help in terms of evaluating that side of the ball moving forward. And I'll tell you what, if you go in and attack this offseason and the offense, and Bill Belichick has a hair across his ass moving forward because of how this year went, and we've seen that 06 to 07 when you load up on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think this team is that far off. And it's a coach that has had success. And if the culture is still here, my concern is that you blow him out, you bring in a new head coach, and all of a sudden you are the Bills that were for 20 years, the Dolphins for 20 years, the Jets now, which is, all right, new head coach, new rookie quarterback, 3 years, and rinse and repeat. And we just get stuck in. Right now, you are still different. You still have that culture in place. And I don't think it's past the point where you can't fix this thing. So, yes, he needs help on the offensive side of the ball. But if you go and bring back Josh McDaniels, Mike Reese was on last week when you guys were out, and he kind of floated that name coming back. If he helps evaluate the quarterback position,
Reese did that?
You get a young quarterback, you're off and running with a couple free agent signings at the receiver or tight end position, I'm on board with that.
You want him back, McGovern.
I'm fully on board with it. Yeah, I'm 180.
Listen, it's fair to say that he's kept this team engaged because they are. They've not quit. They've not thrown the towel in, at least on one side of the ball. I know Trent Brown is out. So their offense
looked great in that post-game win or after the Broncos. Yeah.
They're starting.
Some of the plays that came.
And this is what I just find, like, the hair across his ass. He doesn't accept this. He's going to go out. Well, why didn't he do that after last season? Why didn't he do that on the offensive line last offseason? That's why you've got Vidarian Lowe in there on Sunday.
I think he misevaluated the coaching last year. I think he put too much. I think he blamed
Riley Reese. $6 million. Man. That dude didn't play.
A stupid signing after bad signing after just not fixing the issue. He knew that was an issue. We all knew it was an issue. And he didn't do anything about it. Great.
I think he put too much.
Where was that motivation a year ago when his owner was out there at the end of the offseason basically saying, this is unacceptable, we will do better, we will build a winner? Oh, great job they did. No, that in the end of year review, I'm sure that went well. I don't know why you would think there's any guarantee of that.
I think Bill overevaluated how big of a difference Bill O'Brien versus Matt Patricia and Joe Judge is going to make. And now, coming into this offseason, you don't have an excuse of, hey, if we upgrade the coaching staff, everything's going to be fine and we'll make these players work. Now you know, all right, I have to go in. I have to actually get some players on that side of the ball. That's the difference between last year and this year.
All right, you guys want Bill back? You guys want him back? So you'll be happy if he's here then?
I'll be happy if he's here.
You'll be pleased. So that means you'll be unhappy if they fire him then? Like, there should be no middle ground.
Yes, I'm going to be unhappy if they fire him.
Okay, yeah. Good.
And I'll be especially unhappy if they hire someone internally. If they go Gerard Mayo for Bill Belichick, I'll be really unhappy. Because at that point, I understand what you're saying. What are we doing, though?
I'll tell you the middling thing I would be unhappy with if they made that switch and then they kept Matt Groh in the front office. Well, what are we doing?
Yeah.
That makes no sense. You've got to get a new head coach, and again, the level being it's someone different, and therefore you have someone different in your front office because of that change. That's the one that makes sense to me. Because I really don't think Bill is going to be accepting of a change in structure in terms of who has the final say on the roster. And if he were to somehow be forced into agreeing to it, he would still be unhappy with the setup. He would be unhappy with the player. It just wouldn't work.
So Perillo brought that up last week when you guys were out too.
What he said?
If there's a GM in place that Bill Belichick isn't on board with, and he goes out and gets you that stud receiver, but that stud receiver doesn't necessarily block the way that Bill Belichick wants, well, now that stud receiver is not going to play.
Oh, he's going to bench him for 6 games.
It's just an untenable situation.
He's going to bury him.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to do. Why was Pop Douglas not playing more earlier in the year? Can he play?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Why was he not playing more?
Rookie role. Rookie role. But
this team that's desperate for talent and speed.
Consistent, though. But that's why
consistently stupid.
Well, that's why you get the answer Bill gave you. We're just worried about playing the Jets.
It's consistent. 617-779-0985. Let's go to your calls. David's in Vermont. Go ahead, David.
Well, I go along with Scotty Zolak's idea, and that's to draft Marvin Harrison Jr. because the way Bailey Zappe's played the last month of the season, he's beat 2 playoff contenders and given 2 others that have already qualified for the playoffs all they could handle. I think what he needs is to get his receivers healthy. I mean, we've been without Kenrick Bourne for a long time.
You want Bailey Zappe to be the starter going forward, though, David?
I didn't say that, David. Now,
wow.
I like what Zappe brings, though, but he's got to clean it up, too. Too many turnovers.
He's not a starting quarterback in this league.
But he's your backup. He's done enough to be your backup next year.
Fine. But he's not the starting quarterback.
If Billy's here and it's his offense, I think Bailey's here as your backup next year.
There should be no bridge years with Bailey Zappe. No. I'm out on that idea. I'm out on seeing more Bailey Zappe next season. Need a real quarterback. Real quarterback. Why didn't the Patriots sign Joe Flacco? Can we ask that question?
Why didn't the rest of the league sign Joe Flacco?
What?
They were showing highlights on ESPN before the bowl games. I'm watching those bowl games, all of them yesterday. Great games, by the way. but they were doing like old videos from Flacco when he played the Super Bowl against 49ers. And how many years ago freaking was that? Like, the uniforms have changed so much since then. The pad level, like they were getting Ray Lewis there with these big pads on. Like,
Yeah.
it's like watching like throwback games from me at Maryland. Flacco's still out there chucking it around. How about when he fell asleep on the bench this week?
That's
Just
tough.
taking a little nap.
Yeah.
He's tired.
He's old, man.
Metamucil, that does it to him. Get a little clogged up.
Dan, Duke on the Cape. Go ahead, Duke.
Hey, guys, a couple of things real quick. This game coming up this week against the Jets, I'm going to call it the Loser Bowl. Because the Jets don't want to, the Jets don't want to win. I mean, they want the Pats to, they don't want to help the Pats. And the Pats, if they win, it doesn't help them. And the other thing, I think we should call the show the Zoe and the Raven, because Bertrand means Raven. What do you think?
Well, there was some weird show on about some dude that had a new girlfriend.
There was,
That
yeah.
Bertrand guy had a new girlfriend. Like, your wife would have been pissed about that. I know that.
Also hanging out with the neighbor.
Yeah.
This was. You have to explain this. You can't just throw this in.
Okay, so it was in the TV guide. If you looked at if you pull up your screen, and instead of Zolak and Bertrand, it was a show called Bertrand.
It gave a description of some comedy from 2016, some comedy short that involved someone hanging out with his neighbor who was using webcams to spy on people, I think was the
It's
description.
kind of creepy. I mean, Bertrand has webcams everywhere.
But back to his thing. Back to what he said about this weekend, the Loser Bowl. No, chalk it up. Pats win. Pats are going to win the game.
Oh, they're going to roll.
Oh, no doubt. No, they're gonna hose themselves on the pick. They're gonna tumble down. No, I'm prepared
You
for
know
all
what you're
of
going to
it.
hear a lot this weekend?
Yeah.
This, hey, whoa, hey, dun, 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 dun. Let me tell you about a place. It's my house. Whoa.
All of that. Joe is in Nashville. Hey, Joe.
Hey guys, Happy New Year. I just want to touch on this quickly because I feel like everybody's ignoring this part. If you're bringing Belichick back, it's not for 1 year. It's for multiple years because
I
at that
agree.
point, Kraft won't let him leave without the record. I love what he brought for 20 years, but we all have to accept that we're not there and that hanging on to Belichick is grasping at the past. McDaniels isn't help. You can bring Flores in. He's not going to help. Heck, you can bring in every pass coach that we had during the Super Bowl run. We do not have a top 20 quarterback, never mind a top 5. It's time to thank Belichick for everything. Let him go. Let him get the record somewhere else. Bring in a new staff to nurture the new quarterback so that in 2-3 years we're getting ready to compete, not potentially rebuilding again because Belichick has the record and now he's on his way.
Thank you, Joe. I agree with everything he just said. I mentioned it in the first segment. You're going to bring back Bill, and if you have another bad year with a rookie quarterback, you're then going to blow him out after 1 year with the new quarterback? What? What are you doing? You're doing the same stupid things over and over and over again? You can't do that. So if you're bringing him back, you better lock in. Lock in for the record, McCone. Get excited about
No, he's
it.
not going to be a lame duck head coach. You're 100% right.
Nope,
You're gonna have to
he's
sign him.
not.
Yeah.
That means you're going to have to say, no, he's our guy, and we're sticking with him.
Flacco.
Through thick and thin.